Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so whenever we release a video at the Jamaica Young Police channel, you'll be the first to receive the same. Remember to share the video with your friend, your mama, papa, girlfriend, boyfriend, and your side chick and side man. Yes, and post a comment below, even just to post and say, I am here to show your appreciation of the work that we are doing here at the Jamaica Young Police channel. And thanks for being a part of the movement. So, moving on. We at the Jamaica Young Police channel, we hate criminals with a passion. So here's one of them. This guy's name is Javon Pinnock. Yeah, aka Froggy. Have a distinct scar on the left side of his face, and him eye go all the way down to him cheekbone. And you know, more or less is a Jamaican do that, you know, telephone cut. I don't know how them come by that thing for, you know, to scar people face like that, and that it's just awful, but terrible people. So this man that you're looking at, his name is Javon Pinnock, aka Froggy. Yeah, Froggy them call him on the street, and he's wanted in New York, in Queens, New York, for the murder of Javon Jamison, a Jamaican youth them called Blingers. Yes, and Blingers was killed almost 2 years ago by this man and another man named Christopher King. Christopher King is in custody in New York, awaiting trial for the murder of Jamison. So we are appealing, we are begging, beseeching you Jamaican people in Jamaica and the diaspora, wherever you see this man, to inform the police, whether it's 119 or 911, and let them know that this man is wanted in New York for the murder of Javon Jamison, so that this man can be placed in custody or go straight to the departure home where he belongs, and that's justice. And we say that because we hate criminals with a passion, because there was no reason for this man to kill Blingers, because Blingers was not a threat to him at the time. It was murder, clear murder. Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Moving on to today's video. Yes, you know, today I wasn't planning on doing any video about the PMP criminal organization. Reason being is just that, you know, at times, you know, a person can do so much and no more. But when you keep seeing the lies and the lies and the lies. So you're looking at a woman. I don't know her name, never met her, don't know her. I know that she's not from my community of Jonestown. That big mouth woman, her mouth is big. Yes, her face is broad. She have this one old falls here, so you know, her head's supposed to smell like a pigsty. Cause that's not her real hair. Cause Indians do not have broad nose. Only people who have African descent. So you know, this is a low self-esteem person. So anything that somebody is doing that is false, you know that they are not authentic. And this woman is the epitome of a liar. So there's a policeman. Yes, I'll call his name. There's a ex-policeman. You know, he used to be a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. I've never served with him, but having conversation with him, he's a member of, we have a group called Positive Thinker. This is a PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization supporter. He's from Clarendon, Maypen. Yes. When I says supporter, he's as, you know, some people you can't educate them. So as me, you know, never try to educate a fool, because a fool will eat you. So, you know, going through Positive Thinker, saw a video. This is a man who consistently, he's from country, you know, he's not from where I was born and raised. countryman. I mean, come from Maypen, Clarendon. Maypen in a town. I'm a Kingstonian. So he's always posting PMP propaganda in the group. Nothing that I hate to that when people lies. Especially, things that I have intimate knowledge of. But as I said to you before, and I'll say again, one thing I can tell you about the people who are from PMP communities, you can give them pies if you drink and tell them as somebody else got dead. So this woman in our video, she know that majority of the PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization supporters, activists and voters, them don't read. And I'm telling you that she lies about so many things. She even went as far as to lie that Edward Seaga was the prime minister when Eventide, when the 157 people were killed in Eventide. And then she talks about the CIA redacted a document. No document has been redacted. Jamaican people, don't be fooled by these people. The PMP doesn't mean Jamaica any good. As I said to you and I said again, right now in my community of Jonestown, Concrete Jungle, and Jungle and a whole, Mark Gummibear Golin, the opposition leader, right now, he's there expanding a gang in a jungle, killing off people in our community in a 2025, March 2025. That's why I beg the people them of my community to vote for the Jamaica Labour Party. Because this man, it's 40 lives that people have lost. I know this big mouth, big broad faced woman with her frownsy falls here, we smell like a pigsty, out there telling lies about my community and telling lies about the CIA. So as I said to you before, no, you are not just looking at a document, you are looking at my birth certificate. That paper is more than ink. It's more than ink and government stamp. It is a testament to where I come from. Jamaica, the place of my birth, my upbringing, and my unshakable loyalty. It's a country I love with every fiber of my being. But it's also a country that has betrayed over and over. Yes, Jamaica has been a country that has been betrayed over and over by the very people who were supposed to protect it. The PMP criminal organization who has majority of the people's them mind growing up in Jamaica because them impart criminality, bad mind, and everything that when you come on to dishonesty. All of us, it was imparted to us, but some of us, because we have conscience, we shed it. I have family members, blood of my blood, who got swept up in the propaganda machine of the PMP criminal organization. I watched them, like so many others, get caught up in a political campaign that thrive on lies, manipulation, and character assassination. A campaign not built on progress or patriotism, but on the calculated destructions of innocent lives, often for no other reason than maintaining power at all costs. And as I have seen firsthand what that machine has done, not just to ordinary Jamaicans, but even to the very institutions designed to uphold law and order. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, once a noble arm of service, has not been immune. The PMP criminal organization, political interference has eroded discipline, undermine authority, and empower criminals to operate with impunity, while good officers are left demoralized, or worse, dead, discarded, or discredited. I saw them operate. So this is why I speak out. Not for popularity, not for revenge, but because I always be the bigger person, the one with the enough backbone and integrity to stand in the light and expose the darkness. These liars, these unpatriotic frauds, these criminals who have hollowed out Jamaica from the inside, they do not deserve silence. They do not deserve protection. They deserve exposure, and I will never stop speaking the truth. They can't buy me. They tried everything to recruit me, to give me money, and I tell them to go to hell. Yes, I am not ugly some. I am not the others who can be bought. I have a conscience and I have a soul. Call me what you will. Say I am bitter. Say I am too blunt. Say I am anti this or anti that. None of that bothers me. Because at the core of everything I say and do, is one truth. I am a diehard Jamaican. I love this country in a way that criminals and their enablers never could. And because of that love, I hate criminals and the cowards who protect them with a passion that burns deep in my soul. I will never bow to corruption. I will never excuse betrayal. And I will never stop telling the truth, even when it makes people uncomfortable. Because Jamaica needs more truth tellers and fewer cheerleaders for wickedness. So now listen carefully. I am about to show you a video featuring a big mouth woman. Yes, a big mouth woman whose mouth run faster than our mind. A broad-faced, smooth-talking fabricator who embodies the very essence of deceit. Every time she opens that big mouth, a lie comes out. And with each lie, I am going to respond. Not as an outsider, but as someone who was born in Jonestown and raised in a... Stop right there. Pause this video and subscribe now to United We Win, Divided We Lose. This channel exposes the enemies of global democracy, led by the US, now under threat from a South African billionaire named Elon Musk, Peter Thiel and others, manipulating the world. Subscribe now. Subscribe to the channel. Those who know the truth but stay silent are nothing but fools and cowards. Speak up or be complicit. As we says, those who know the truth and stay silent are nothing but fools and cowards. So moving on to today's video. Concrete jungle, deep into the heart of Kingston 12. I speak as a witness, as a survivor, and as one of the last standing from the once vibrant community. As I said before, I speak as a witness, as a survivor, and as one of the last standing of our once vibrant community. A community shattered and torn apart by none other than a PMP criminal organization led by Michael Manley, the worst thing we ever happened to Jamaica and my community. Nobody come tell me about where my family get. Hey, look here, man. When it come on to my people, I don't care whether you're a Labour or a PMP. I love my Jamaican people. I don't see them as I don't see them with no labels, but because many of them are fools to say that they are born PMP and don't realize that their lives and their children and grandchildren lives hasn't improved, because these people are not about to uplift the people's mind, but only to destroy them to maintain power. So there are only two of us left from my peer group. Two. So when a guy come talk about boy me a labourer, yes, say what you want to say. Me a diehard Jamaican, me a diehard junglist, me a diehard Jonestown man. No guy can buy me out. As I said, there are only two of us left from my peer group. The rest, victims of murder, poverty, political betrayal, or the streets. Some of them police kill them, like Stella, Radcliffe Row, and I can go on and on. There are so many of them. You understand? And while some individuals, perhaps comfortably distant from the carnage, whisper that I harbor some deep hatred or bitterness toward the PMP criminal organization, let's make this clear. It is not hatred. It's truth in painful life that I live experience. They say, but your family got things from the PMP criminal organization. Michael Manley did this for your people, for your family. What they fail to understand is that the thief can give gifts too, but only after robbing 10 others. And what the PMP gave with one hand, it's stole tenfold from others. Not just in material terms, but in the form of life lost, morals eroded, an entire community handed over to the group of violence, lies and manipulation. The PMP did not just betray my community. They auctioned off our future, block by block, soul by soul. They turned young boys into gunmen, turned hard-working mothers into party loyalists, and turned once proud communities into war zones of dependency and political thuggery. They are the debt merchants, the masters of lies. And this woman you are about to hear is one of their shameless big mouthpiece, alligator mouth, spewing fictions as if it's truth, were just a matter of opinion. Now she's invoking declassified CIA documents, claiming that the Central Intelligence Agency communicated directly with her, as if the CIA, an organization built on discretion and strategic silence, would reach out to a known liar in the public domain. It's laughable, but also dangerous because people are buying into it. And so I must address every falsehood, every fabrication, every insult to the intelligence of those who still seek the truth. Let this be the beginning of a dissection, not just of our lies, but the political decay that the PNP criminal organization has fed the Jamaican people for decades. I will not be silent while frauds rewrite our history. I owe that much to the friends I buried and elders who lost, and the community that still struggles beneath the shadows of these political parasites. Right now, today, Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, Mark Gummy Bear Goulding, along with Ricardo, Rick Dick Tyrrell, and Dirty Stinking 90, and Bob, they are killing community members of my community where I was born and raised because they want this one jungle initiative. And I'll do everything in my powers to make sure that this never happen. We do not need any division, no more murder, no more killings. We have a prime minister who's dismantling criminal gangs, and we have an opposition leader that is building a gang. That is why I said the people of Concrete Jungle and Jonestown, if the election is fair, the next election, please vote for the Labour right. And I say that again, I am endorsing the Labour right over the PNP. I don't care who want to vex with me. I don't give one rat's ass. All I do, I care about Jamaica. I hate criminals, and the PNP is a criminal organization. So, now, moving on to this big mouth, alligator mouth woman with a whole of falls here that her head smell like a pigsty. I mean, so you watch, you listen, and you decide.
I'm going to read for you some excerpts from CIA's declassified files. Whatever you hear me say in the upcoming segment, I know me say so, and the CIA says so. Let's jump in.
Yeah, so you hear this PNP criminal organization, alligator mouth, liar in action. Yes, you know, talking about the CIA declassified documents and reach out to her. Now listen, when somebody is bold enough to tell a lie on the CIA, you need to understand exactly what you are dealing with. A dangerous individual. Not just your average liar, but someone with no moral compass, no boundaries, and no fear of consequences. Well, you have to understand, now this is a fraud, but look, the files here she have on, it smell like a pigsty. Same people, them in PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organization said, you understand, everything about her is false, nothing about her not real. There's no Indian with big broad nose and big broad face. I can speak because I have, you know, you understand what I'm saying? I have even Indian in my family by my father's side. That I mean, well, maybe they not even classify themselves as Indian because their father is Cuban and their mother is Indian. So I don't know if Eileen and Murray, I not call them last name, but those who know my family know, you understand? You know, one dark and one look white. Yeah, me too want, yeah, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not telling you where them come from, you understand? But one of them dark and one look white. And none of them have broad nose, none of them. And none of them have broad face. None of them have a broad face when look like pudding pan like she. I tell you that, you understand? I just say, go, you mean, we have to tell you the truth. So this isn't just an harmless exaggeration or overblown opinion. No, it's not. Once a person is comfortable is fabricating stories about one of the most secretive and powerful intelligence agencies on the planet, that tells you everything you need to know about their character. They are reckless, deceptive, and potentially destructive. This isn't just, as we tell you, it's not a harmless exaggeration or overblown opinion. This is deliberate attempt to manipulate public perception using falsehood cloaked in the language of officialdom, invoking the CIA as it's some casual name to drop for street cred or political leverage. It's not only irresponsible, it's dangerous, especially in a country like Jamaica, where too many people are already vulnerable to misinformation because them don't read. So when she knows them a liar. She herself a liar with her alligator mouth and her pigsty ear. And then there is Wilfred Rattigan, the former FBI agent, who has proudly aligned himself with the PMP criminal organization, functioning as both a supporter and political activist under the guise of public service. Let's not pretend that he wouldn't leap at the chance to promote such fabrication if it served his agenda. The only reason he isn't publicly echoing this nonsense is simple. He is still clinging to whatever tiny shred of credibility he thinks he has left. But let's be real, it's too late. Whatever integrity or impartiality he once had has been wasted away by his open alignment with a party known for enabling corruption, shielding criminals, and weaponizing lies. His silence in this case isn't a sign of discretion, it's a calculation. He knows that attaching himself to that CIA lie would be the final nail in the coffin that's already halfway buried. Let's not forget credibility is earned by standing for truth, not by hiding behind a badge from a former life while propping up your very political machinery that has dismantled communities, undermine justice and glorify criminality in Jamaica. So when you hear these CIA lies being thrown around, ask yourself, if even a compromised figure like Rattigan won't touch it, what does that say about the person who will? These people are not just liars, they are manipulators, enablers, and architects of chaos, and it's our duty as truth bearers and patriot to expose them at every turn. So you can see, alligator mouth with her pigsty ear, because she's not an Indian have broad nose, Indian have big mouth, Indian have broad face like pudding pan. I just saw you after this, I just saw it what you mean. And this is not a misogyny, this is truth. Wherever they tell like, oh, okay, she's not an Indian. Everything about her is false. The ear that she have on her head is not hers, it's a pigsty. Because people say her ear smell like pigsty. But they don't care, because they want to think so them white. And they are not. And they are not Indians. Because Indians do not align themselves with big broad nose people. Indians have straight nose. Pretty much like Europeans. Arabs have big nose, not broad. So she's nothing, everything about her is false. So we continue the journey. So you watch, you listen, and you decide. Can we show you a big plump on face woman, because she a liar. When I watch these videos and watch when people are promote lies about my community and them thing, and I'm gonna post the links to all of the PMP criminality that they have done to my community when they come on to Eventide. I don't even do a video about Orange Street massacre. You understand? And Gold Street and all of these things. These are things that etching in my memory to this day. And I am a big man. So you watch, you listen, and you decide. And listen to this big alligator mouth woman with her pigsty ear.
A tweet from Erica Virtue caught my eye. She mentioned in that tweet that the CIA will be declassifying information on the CIA's involvement in Jamaica between 1976 and 1980. So, I got you. So I got some information from the CIA that's already available to us.
Yes, as someone who has served in the military, have security clearance and all of these things, I can tell you that the biggest lie that this woman has told already, that she has told in this video, is that the CIA had shared information with her. Lies. CIA don't communicate, not even with the media. Period. Much less this big broad-faced alligator mouth woman with her pigsty ear. Period. She's a liar, I'm telling you. That's a first lie that she tell. If you know an honest liar, show me one. And she's not. There's no honest liar in this world. So we continue the journey because we are exposed lies when they come out with it. This big mouth, alligator mouth woman, alligator mouth liar in action. So you watch, you listen, and we're going to dissect we're going to dissect everything that she's saying, because she's a pathological liar.
Let's jump into it. Leading up to the December 1976 election, there was a wave of shootings and arson terrorizing the Jamaican population. It says that in 1976, there was a fire on Orange Lane. A group of 50 armed paramilitary gunmen burned a block of tenements to the ground. Survivors who attempted to escape were forced back into the flames.
So those who were born, who was around during the 1980 election and have good memory, would remember that even after the massacre, that there was a public inquiry. And guess what? The person that was in charge of it, the judge, was you small father. Yeah, man, a conservative man, although he was PNP. And the witnesses, the survivors of the Orange Street massacre, these are all PNP, all laborites, the people that are living in that yard. They're not PNP, laborites. And some of them were, some white people them that live inside of the yard. Our children, our pitney them and them throw back inside there. So you're looking at the men who are part of the massacre. George Pang, Sperline, General Starkey, Lenky Rai, Drew Brown, all of these men, Tony Welsh, all of them, and guess what? The people them, they were afraid of calling out these men publicly. So you small had to do it in a behind closed door with these people. And them identify all as the attackers as PNP, criminal organization, murderers, killers. So everything that this woman is saying is lie. And at the time, I wasn't a police, I was a youth still in Jamaica, but I used to read the Gleaner and stuff like that. You understand? And if you believe in reading, you have to, for you to get this information, you have to pay for it online. The Gleaner don't allow these things to be available to the public to educate you, and it is done deliberately. Remember, the Jamaica Gleaner is aligned to the PNP criminal organization, and this alligator mouth woman with her pigsty ear, don't expect her to educate you, because she knows the majority of people them. That's why the video is so short, You understand? Because these videos are tailored to a certain audience, because they know that their attention span is not that long. People who reach this far in this video are people who want to educate themselves. I want to hear the truth. As I tell you before, one thing I can tell you about the PNP, born and raised in Ibelli Ibis. One thing with them, they are liars. They program the people to be criminal-minded people and sympathetic to criminals. When it comes on to decency, there's none. Honesty, none. Ethics, none. Morality, none. They have nothing when it comes on to decency where they impart to you. Everything where they impart to you is destructive behavior. So, we debunk that lie by this alligator mouth woman with our pigsty ear. So, we'll continue the journey.
Documents and weapons found in JLP leaders' possession outlined a plan for a US-backed military coup before the elections. The source of this? Counter Spy, Volume 3, Number 2, December 1976. So go find it for yourself.
Yeah, so I'm just going to tell you, she's an unpatriotic fraud. Yeah, she's one of the unpatriotic frauds. So this alligator mouth liar with her pigsty falls here. Yeah, well, pigsty, say pigsty is something that smell bad. What you mean? I saw her ear smell, but them not ashamed, because them have low self-esteem. And even although them smell, so our ears stink. Majority of them who wear falls here, them heads stink. I tell you that. Even when I walk past them and them, you understand, pigsty ear. As I said before and I'll say again, to all of my brothers them, if you attack to a woman, I don't care who the person is, if you attack to a woman and she have falls here, nobody talk falls here and hold up makeup, piece makeup. Nobody talk to them, because everything that you're getting is false. You want someone that is authentic, like a Jai Reid, like a Favour Williams. That's why I love Favour Williams. I mean, natural. Even with the fake Ellington, they're the one who are brigadista. Yeah, so moving on. So let's go straight to the point. The reason this alligator-mouthed woman with her unkept pigsty ear keeps spewing lies to the Jamaican public, particularly the most vulnerable amongst us, is because she understands the psychological profile of her audience. She knows exactly who she is speaking to, a population that has been deliberately undereducated, misinformed, and emotionally manipulated by their very political cult she represents, the PMP criminal organization. I say before and I say again, as a man who born and raised in a belly beast, I am begging all of the people in my community of Jonestown and Jungle for vote for the Labour Party. For run Mark Gummy Beer Golden out of our community and send him back to England. We're not supposed to support no white man in a 2025. Worse, him not born in Jamaica. If he was a Jamaican by birth, that would be fine, but he's not. We don't want a foreigner to be world leader. After we're in America, we're licky and corrupt GOP people where have a man who come from South Africa around them country. Donald Trump is not the president. Donald Trump is a figurehead. Because he love money. So she stands before the camera with fake conviction and say, look it up for yourself. But let's not pretend that an honest challenge. She knows full well that a large portion of the supporters, activists and loyal voters of the PMP criminal organization have neither the interest nor the habit of conducting independent research. This is not by accident. This is by design. That's why them not like me. And me verse, hey, you don't like me? Nobody thinks me I gonna like you. Me none of that. So she's playing a psychological game, a manipulation tactics rooted in the understanding that many of her followers have TikTok length attention span, like goldfish, low media literacy, and an aversion to reading anything longer than a meme. This is the tragic byproduct of decades of systemic mental and social decay fostered by the PMP criminal organization, a party that has robbed the Jamaican people not only of the opportunity but of intellectual curiosity and self-improvement. Let's call it what it is. She is banking on ignorance, because if the documents she claimed exists on the CIA's official website were real, then posting the direct link would have been the easiest and most responsible thing to do. One click, that's it. But she didn't do that. And you know why? Because it doesn't exist. She would rather toss out a baseless claim and then put the burden of verification on the very people she knows will never verify it. She understands that her audience, trained by decades of PMP criminal organization propaganda, won't question her. They'll just run with it. They'll spread it like wildfire, repeating it as gospel, weaponizing it against others, never once checking it if it's even true. That's how lies become political capital in Jamaica. That's how criminals and con artists become heroes in the eyes of the misled. And that's exactly why she and people like her must be exposed over and over again until the truth becomes louder than propaganda. What she's doing is not just dishonest, it's predatory. She's preying on the uninformed, exploiting the minds of those who have been systematically deprived of education, media independence, and critical thinking by the same criminal outfit she represents. But let this be a warning. Jamaica is waking up slowly but surely and her lies, no matter how confidently delivered, she will not survive the cleansing fire of truth. This alligator mouth, pigsty ear woman won't get away with her lies, because we are dissect it and expose it for what it is. She's a liar with an alligator mouth and a pigsty ear. So we'll continue the journey to expose this broad face, big mouth, broad nose, pigsty ear woman. You watch, you listen, and you decide.
And know what happened in 1976. In 1980, there was an escalation of political violence in Jamaica. Let's look at what happened at the Eventide Home Massacre, May 19, 1980. Mercenaries burned down a home for destitute elderly women, killing over 150 aged and infirm residents. Edward Seaga then.
Yeah, so I have produced several investigative videos about one of the darkest and most heart-wrenching atrocities ever committed on Jamaican soil. The Eventide Home Massacre, where over 157 elderly women, defenseless and forgotten by the system, were brutally burnt alive. Their lives were extinguished not by natural disaster or accident, but by deliberate political violence, a calculated act of terror meant to send a message during a time of deep national unrest. Even after they had committed the Eventide Massacre, at the time, in a Jonestown concrete jungle, we did not have any telephone, WhatsApp or social media, and the people within the communities were planning to march down to Parliament, saying it's Edward Seaga that commit Edward Seaga and the Labour right them from Tivoli and Rima did it. All these people know to do such a thing, to plan that demand to go down to the Parliament. Although we in our community knew that this massacre was committed by men in our community. And there's several videos on it. What's even more disturbing is that the men responsible for this horror weren't strangers to me. They didn't come from faraway places. They were born and bred in the same communities as I was. Jonestown, Concrete Jungle, Kingston 12. The same streets that raised them on the wider part of jungle. But somewhere along the line, they chose the path of destruction, aligning themselves with political criminality, while others like myself choose truth, justice and national pride. I have spoken directly to Dwayne Douglas, the son of one of those very men, Lenky Rai, who wasn't just linked to the Eventide Massacre, but also alleged to be one of the gunmen responsible of shooting Bob Marley in that infamous 1976 ambush. Yes, you heard that correctly. The son of one of the men tied to two of Jamaica's most politically motivated crimes. And in that conversation, I saw firsthand the legacy that violence and political criminality leave behind. The truth runs deep. And it's time Jamaicans stop pretending not to know. And that's why I am going to repost every single video I have made about Eventide Massacre and the attempted assassination of Bob Marley. Because the truth must be documented, repeated, and burned into the collective memory. These were not isolated incidents. They were acts of domestic terrorism noted in political tribalism. And they were carried out by agents and enforcers of the PNP criminal organization. Now fast forward to today, and we have people with alligator mouths, pigsty ear, and dangerous inflated ego, low self-esteem, trying to rewrite history, acting like they are authorities on truth and justice. These individuals with low self-esteem and fabricated identities, desperately seeking validation by pretending to be something they are not. They parade themselves as intellectuals, activists and truth tellers, when in reality they are merchants of lies and confusion, propped up by a dwindling group of blind loyalists. Let me be clear, no self-respected Indian woman look like that, like this alligator mouth woman. None. No Indian has broad nose, flat nose, wide face, broad like punpan, nappy and comb, pigsty ear, or ear that was built. Well, them get ear from people who are dead. Which self-respected woman or woman would wear the ear of a dead Indian, a dead Chinese, a dead European? If you respect yourself as a person, as a woman, why would you wear the ear of somebody who's dead, who died? You have no self-esteem. What we are looking at is not heritage. It is a desperate attempt at rebranding rooted in insecurity and identity confusion. It's a performance, not culture. So the next time you hear one of those frauds shouting from the soapbox, especially one who lies on the CIA, fabricate declassified documents, and pander to a base that hates reading. Remember where they came from and who benefits from their lies. They are not truth tellers. They are enablers of political wickedness and historical amnesia. And I will not let them silence the truth. Not about Eventide, not about Bob Marley, not about Jamaica. Not now, not ever. I hate liars and criminals with a passion. So we continue the journey listening to this alligator mouth, low self-esteem, broad nose, pigsty ear woman. You watch, you listen, and you decide.
Prime Minister downplayed the tragedy, only expressing sympathy for JLP supporters among the dead. This, of course, sparked outrage across Jamaica, with people questioning whether JLP lives were considered more valuable than PNP lives or the lives of Jamaicans who had no political affiliation.
Well, to show you how people wicked, you know, I can tell you this, as a youth growing up then, Edward Seaga was not the Prime Minister when Eventide happened. It was Michael Manley. I was born and raised in a belly of the beast. This woman, I can't, well, I don't, apparently she don't do any, because she know that most of the PNP LGBTQ plus criminal organizations, supporters, voters and activists, them don't read. So when you take time to truly listen to this alligator-mouthed, pigsty ear, broad-nosed, broad-faced woman spewing her nonsense, it's become clear just how deep her commitment to dishonesty really goes. She boldly proclaims that Edward Seaga was the Prime Minister of Jamaica in May 1980. A blatant, unapologetic lie that anyone, even with basic understanding of Jamaican history, knows false. But you know, sir, the PNP criminal organization, voters, activists, and supporters, them not read. And even, although we are telling them now that it was Michael Manley, the truth is Michael Manley was the Prime Minister of Jamaica at the time. Them still are going to say, no, them believe she, I saw them staying. It wasn't until October 30th, 1980, after the general election, that Edward Seaga became Prime Minister of Jamaica. What does it say about someone who's willing to twist a documented, verifiable timeline just to push a political narrative? The truth, Michael Manley was the Prime Minister of Jamaica at the time. It was not until October 30th, after the general election, that Edward Seaga became Prime Minister. So what does this say about someone who's willing to twist a documented, verifiable timeline just to push a political narrative? It tells us everything we need to know. This is not someone driven by facts, truth or justice. This is someone driven by agenda and powered by wickedness. What's worse is that her lies aren't mere slips of the tongue or innocent mistakes. They are deliberate, calculated, vile, and they are aimed directly at misleading a population already struggling to separate fact from fiction after decades of political propaganda and media manipulation, especially by the PNP criminal organization she clearly sympathizes with. Let me be absolutely clear about something else too, and I say this without apologies. No self-respecting Indian woman looks like that. No Indian has flat, broad nose, wide face, and an honeycomb nest of ear that resemble a pigsty. What we are witnessing isn't culture, it's cosplay. It's not ancestry, it's identity confusion dressed up as empowerment. So see, having all of this pigsty here we smell, if you know pigsty, yes. This is not heritage, it's a desperate attempt at rebranding. It's an insecure performance by someone trying to cloak themselves in a borrowed identity to feel special, to seem exotic, or perhaps even to avoid confronting who they really are. She don't even know herself. She trying to portray herself as Indian. Indian have broad nose and broad face. Indian wear pigsty ear. Indian wash them ear. She can't wash it because it's not hers. If she wash it, it just crumble up. Like anytime you put your water on paper. But the truth doesn't need costume change. Truth stand on its own. So when you hear this alligator mouth woman with her pigsty ear parading herself as a voice of truth, remember, she lied about Seaga's role in May 1980. She invoked false CIA documents with no proof. She weaponized ignorance to feed her followers empty rhetoric instead of evidence. And she hides behind a false entity, an identity, to sell false narrative. This is not just misinformation. It's psychological warfare, and it must be confronted with facts, exposed with history, and dismantled with courage. And that's what I am doing here at the Jamaica Young Police Channel, born and raised in Ibellia. So I'm not going to allow nobody to tell a lie on my community anymore, and tell lie on the labourers them when they are innocent. The labourers them did not burn on even time. It was meant for my community. One of my mother schoolmates, Perline, Vincent Morrison, George Pong, Anthony, General Starkey Tyndall, Lenky Rai, and I can Drew Brown, Tony Welch, and I can go on and on and on. All of the old corals in them will kill the people them. And this big broad-faced woman come out with her mouth full of lies. So we continue the journey and I dismantle all our lies them. This broad-faced alligator mouth woman with her broad nose, a pigsty ears pigsty here smell like a pigsty, wanting to be something that she's not. She's fake and false in every way you can think of. So we continue the journey. Moving on.
Just 2 months later, in July of 1980, there was the Greenwich Town Massacre. At least 5 gunmen attacked homes in Greenwich Town and Kingston. They kicked down doors and opened fire, killing 7 people. A JLP campaign vehicle was involved in the operation. Between June to July 1980, there was a breakout of violence again in Jamaica. A black mercenary army was trained in Florida, specifically recruiting Vietnam War veterans. In July of 1980, there was an M16 bus shooting. 2 men appearing to be repairing a JLP Jeep opened fire on a passing bus using M16 rifles. Following Edward Seaga's visit to the United States, there was an escalation of violence. While in the United States, Seaga predicted more violence in Jamaica. Upon his return, this prediction came true, with coordinated gunfiring increasing across the country. Gangs of young men who previously had no money or resources suddenly had jobs paid $100 per week. Back then, that was a lot of money. Motor scooters, firearms, and the death toll by July 1980 had risen dramatically. By late July, over 350 people had been killed in Jamaica since the election was announced in February 1980. This sparked a burial controversy and the escalation of political violence. It took well over 2 weeks to find burial sites for the victims of the Greenwich Town Massacre. Residents in Tivoli Gardens, a JLP stronghold, threatened violence if PNP victims were buried nearby. Funerals were moved to number 5 cemetery in Spanish Town, where grave diggers were attacked daily, requiring police protection. Church leaders had to intervene, urging citizens to recognize that political violence must end. What was the impact and the broader implications of this? The US actively supported the JLP's efforts to destabilize the country ahead of the 1980 election. Seaga's connection to the US became evident, with violence conveniently aligning with his predictions. Election-related violence reached unprecedented levels, leaving hundreds dead and intensifying political divisions in Jamaica. The psychological impact of political terror lingered, making this period one of the darkest chapters in Jamaica's modern political history.
Throughout my entire life on this earth, I have never came across anyone quite like this woman, a living contradiction. The embodiment of delusion. She is the most dishonest, inauthentic, and narcissistic individual I've ever witnessed. Attempting to masquerade as a beacon of truth, her conscience knows no boundaries, and she operates without shame, remorse, or any moral compass. It's as if lying is her native language, and deceit is the only currency she trades in. Let me, Chris Porter, be absolutely clear. No self-respecting Indian woman presents herself like this. There is no Indian heritage in her broad, flat nose, her wide face, her nappy, tangled pigsty of hair she walks around with. This isn't culture. This is costume and confusion. This is not the reflection of ethnic pride. It is a pitiful attempt at rebranded, rooted in deep insecurity, fractured identity, and unresolved self-hate. What we are looking at is not heritage. It's a performance art, a daily act of impersonation meant to fool the uninformed and attract attention. It's as if she believes that pretending hard enough, the lie will become truth. But it never will. You cannot fake legacy. You cannot rewrite bloodlines. And you cannot manufacture dignity. Now, she has begun making declarations that young Jamaican men being paid to commit terrorism. And for once, she's not lying. But here's what she won't tell you in full. Men like Anthony General Starkey Tingle and others, including some of my own family members, were sent to Cuba under the guise of political training. What they were really doing was undergoing military-style guerrilla warfare education, learning how to use and maintain automatic weapon, handle explosives, build and detonate bombs, and carry out urban insurgency. They returned to Jamaica as trained political enforcers, not freedom fighters, but domestic terrorists, used by the PNP criminal organization to instill fear into the hearts of the Jamaican people and to maintain control over garrison communities. They were in isolated cases. This was a tragedy. It was a part of a broader calculated plan to terrorize the population, dismantle democracy, and fortify criminal power under the cover of politics. Now, look around Kingston today. Use your head. Count. How many strongholds does the Jamaica Labour Party have in the Kingston metropolitan area? Not many. But when you look at the areas plagued by decades of crimes, bloodshed, hopelessness, what do you find? Jonestown, Arnett Gardens, Rima, Dunkirk, Anatown, Trenchtown, Backto, Greenwich Farm, Whitfield Town, Seaview Gardens, Riverton, Waterhouse, and I can go on and on and on. Marvally, Jewsland, and I can go on and on and on. But when you look at the areas plagued by decades of bloodshed, PNP dominated enclaves, drowning in violence and crawling with criminals. These places were once thriving communities. Now they are criminal breeding grounds where the PNP has done nothing but fertilize dysfunction, dependency and destruction. The only thing the PNP criminal organization has mastered over the decades is the mass production of criminals like bedbugs or chinks, parasitic by nature, draining the life out of honest citizens and multiplying wherever law and order are weakest. As for this woman, she has zero self-esteem and zero self-respect. She's the epitome of a fake wannabe Indian. Indian don't have broad nose or broad face. No. Indian have straight face, long hair, not pigsty hair. And she will continue to operate like a cultural imposter until she stops pretending to be something she's not. She can wear all the bangles, drape herself in saris, and throw around Sanskrit phrases if she likes, but it won't change her roots, and it certainly won't cover her lies. Jamaica need truth, not theatrics. We need courage, not cowards in costumes. And we must stop allowing frauds to speak to us. Our days of deceiving the people must come to an end. The time has come for Jamaicans, especially those who still possesses critical thinking and a love for truth, to reject the lies, reject manipulation, and reject political frauds who have long preyed on the ignorance and pain. This woman with her alligator mouth and pigsty ear, her broad face and false identity represent more than just an individual liar. She's a symbol of cultural, political and moral decay that the PNP criminal organization has normalized for decades. She lies about our history, she disrespects our intelligence, and worst of all, she exploits the very people our political lineage helped destroy. Let it be known, Michael Manley was Prime Minister in May 1980, not Edward Seaga. Let it be known, Eventide Massacre was real and the men responsible came from PNP strongholds. Let it be known, Jamaican youth were trained in guerrilla warfare, over 2,500 of them in Cuba, sent back to unleash violence upon their own people. And let it be known that this woman is not Indian. She is simply confused, misguided, and desperate for relevance. We must never allow people like her to rewrite our history or speak falsehood unchallenged. The next generation deserve better. They deserve the truth. As long as I have a breath, I will continue to speak the truth boldly, unapologetically, and without fear. I am not afraid of anyone. How many times they can kill me once? I should have died from August 1996. Why should I correct that? August 1986. Yes. That was 2 weeks after I did the police test. I should have been killed right at the corner of Price Street and Spencer Street by a man named Bernard, who died whilst I was in the Jamaica Police Academy. He was a gunman and he tried to kill a youth that I went to school with. He was older than yours truly. I don't even know his correct name because he was in a higher grade than me. But he was the assistant goalkeeper when I was going to high school. And he's from Jonestown. They call him Yasi. I have never seen him after that day. I understand that he lives in Canada. To be frank, I don't know his correct name, although we are from the same community. But he was elder. He was older than yours truly. We must not allow people like her to rewrite history or speak falsehoods unchallenged. The next generation deserve better. Because I am a diehard Jamaican, I do not support criminals. And I will never stay silent in face of deception, no matter who's telling the lie. Have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.